for sure, but on Volskaya, looking at that B point and how New Paradigm have approached attacking in general, this kind of blasé approach where things are very slow, they're not very decisive, I think they're going to struggle to cap out B. I think there's a high chance they get full held at B.
New Paradigm setting up attack is a case of give me 5, up high, down low, too slow. And when I say give me 5, I mean give me 5 kills, but they're too slow to get them. That felt a lot more clever in my head.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes because 4 is not enough for them, I think.
Yeah, right.
They don't attack yet. It is Talon on attack first.
Yeah, Hojinho has flipped to the script and killed Bazzi, but he's going to get answered back by Persia, and Villeneuve was able to pop Frost as well. So this is already Talon just kind of marching on in here.
And a week's going to come back next week. Bazzi is officially back in the Talon roster. This pack has so far been pretty successful. Gogora's going to collect himself a couple of kills as well. This is basically one attempt. It's taken like roughly 1 minute, 45 seconds. But they do get on their first try.
It's pretty ideal.
The ultimates will be at an advantage here as well. Iron going to switch himself onto a Brigida.
One of the things I'm finding quite interesting is that it's actually Gogora on the Brigida instead of playing on the Diva, and also instead of swapping either TYG or Bazzi, or even potentially Haru or Persia.
It's triple support, 1 tank and 2 DPS, which means there's a lot of pressure and a lot of emphasis on what Villeneuve does if he goes down. This Talon Esports side could fall by the wayside.
Already getting pressure on the point though. New Paradigm need to answer. There's the rally out from Gogora, and this is the advantage of it. Once they're on the point, where teams generally suffer when they're attacking is they run out of healing, they run out of supports. Hey, Talon, they're at no risk of that happening. They're not going to run out of health, and it means New Paradigm have a lot of backliners they need to chew through before they can actually take control of this point back.
That was quick.
Not going to happen at all. It is quick indeed. Talon, they have gone and had a shower in the break. They are looking a lot cleaner. New Paradigm, I don't know, they rolled it out or something.
I gotta say, 6:24, I believe it was. That's an insane time back for any attacking team.
Yeah.
That was a 1 attempt on A followed by a 1 attempt on B. But what I will say is a 1 attempt completed by the fact that they had momentum from A. Didn't change team comps, had ultimates much earlier than New Paradigm, who did somewhat change a couple of heroes here and there. New Paradigm now, the only way they can match this, in fact, I'm going to say the only way New Paradigm actually get a full cap out, aside from Talon just absolutely throwing their defense away, is New Paradigm have to rely on similar momentum. Cap A, whenever that happens, might not be the first attempt, might be a few attempts in, but when they get that A cap, assuming they do, push off a lot of momentum, got to go fast, then they can possibly cap B, but that's it.
The moment you said that, the Sonic theme popped into my head. Just wanted you to know that. Got to go fast. No, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's all right. It's over.
Yeah, it's copyrighted.
What's the minimum you can do? It's like
break any laws.
I hope I kept under that minimum. that would be rough. At any rate, absolutely, yeah. New Paradigm, they need to come out fast. They need to really come out swinging here. I doubt this is actually going to be a Sombra. Maybe it will be. I don't know.
I mean, they're defending, so... Well, that's not correct. They're attacking. Yeah. So what we do also see is some teams will run a Sombra to start with, not to commit.
Don't bang those guns together, you irresponsible child.
Some teams will run a Sombra to kind of check the point first. So your attacking team, you run it with a Sombra, you throw your translocator in your base, invis in, have a look at what the defender is running, instantly translocate backwards, and change onto the corresponding hero that you need to take down the defense. So.
Transponder is down, so I think that is actually what the plan is here.
They might be committing. This might be real as well.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it would certainly be a surprise to me, I have to say. TYG is shown his location. The jig is up. They don't have any great ways to get onto Bazzi. They can send the tanks up, but the moment they do, they're kind of out on their own. There's no supports that can back them up if things go sour. Bazzi. But it's going to pay off. Tito will go high and drop Bazzi down. And New Paradigm on the point, already 1/3 over. Talon need to start answering.
So the good thing for New Paradigm is they've actually kind of locked Talon Esports up inside this building. I'm not too sure if they can fully commit onto it, but while this is happening, the cap and the point, 2 ticks underway. It's up to Talon to defend now. It's up to Talon to actually get on the point.
They're finally on it, contesting it as it's already approaching the high percentages. Pulse Bomb out onto Villeneuve, runs it into Gogora 2 to do some upfront damage, allowing them to close off on him. And that's going to be the rest of the cap for New Paradigm. It's exactly what they needed.
And that was actually faster than Talon's initial cap onto A, so now we're starting to see this one attempt through. Good news as well, Ein ready with the EMP. This could be it. This could be the dream push that New Paradigm are looking for.
They've already got Bazzi. They've got some more coming out. There's the EMP to try and...
Dylan Yo's got to go down.
Yeah, there he is. Not even able to use that Primal Rage. Too busy getting hacked out. Now the flyby from Haru. Not going to be able to get a res. They're on the point. They might even get a comparable time here. I don't believe this.
I don't believe they will cap. The reason for that is because the Transcenders is coming in and because the Primal's coming in too.
Pulse Bomb is in though. Pops Bazzi. With 1 second more. What is going on?
I think both teams just suck at B defense. I'm going to be honest here. Okay, let's be real. Let's be real here. There was a
top-level analysis.
A May with a cryo freeze, right? Give me a second. I will explain that.
Go ahead.
It's a May with a cryo freeze. Zenyatta with the trance was used, did get onto the point, right? And then you had Villain Yo backed up there with a Primal Rage. He died with it because he got EMP'd, but he respawned. A tick was still remaining. He could have popped that in base and just double jumped onto the point. There's a number of things that could have happened there that would have resulted in Talon possibly eventually stabilizing or at least attempting to defend. That was just, I don't know, that possibly to my eyes was a real C9.
There's a word I would like to use here, but I can't use it, so instead I'm going to use an equivalent. This match right now is an absolute jester party. For what it's worth, I've always felt Jester Fiesta was the catchier term. I'm disappointed we don't use it. That is my 2 cents.
But that's why. But that's the thing. Like, I will say for New Paradigm, like that defense was probably not going to happen. They didn't have the win condition defensively. But Talon, man, they dropped the ball. And I might have cursed them too because I said, look, Talon would have to
624 and then 625.
Talon would really have to throw. I want to know what would happen if they just both got 625. I don't know.
Right, this is so.
The game does a coin flip.
It's like no. This is so.
It's a draw. The game ended a draw right then and there. Anyway.
This is so. I mean, this is unheard of, really. Bazzi, nice catch on Eind. New Paradigm. They're running this same thing here, and they're running it on the defense. They're running a Sombra, and it's kind of not paid off. Bazzi gets traded out. And it feels like both of these teams are just scattered. New Paradigm are uncoordinated, but so are Talon. They're just all scrapping in various locations. Rarely does it feel like there's a central fight going on. But whatever is going on, Talon are winning it.
New Paradigm's playing a 2017 meta here, where Sombra is still played on defense.
That's kind of what it feels like.
It does sort of go in that sort of direction.
Like to who?
The only thing that's weird is Mercy somehow in here instead of Lucio, but being in 2018, let's talk about that for a second here. 5 minutes, 20-something still remaining for Talon. Another one attempt fight. And that's the other thing. Both teams currently have not had very good defenses because it's kind of unexpected that back-to-back you have 2 1 attempts on A and 2 1 attempts onto B, and then a third 1 attempt onto A again.
I've got to say, we just criticized New Paradigm for like having to wait for them to go and attack. I mean, this is kind of the opposite of that. They have actually at least been quick and decisive, as have Talon. There's the run around onto Velvet, getting able to close them off despite Ilsubi coming in for the rescue, who is also going to get dropped down. And again, the snowball is just all there.
Saving.
Yeah, and where is the response from New Paradigm? They don't have that that EMP from Ein, which means this Sombra has just been suboptimal. There's no two ways about that, unfortunately.
Velvet's going to try and save this one. When I say save this one, he's going to try and mostly stall here, although there are some members still alive. Primal Rage does come online as well for Frost, but again, where are the kills? This is all stalling tools. Yeah. 2 ticks already gone here. You need to make trades if you're New Paradigm. EMP now should be available, but not enough backup.
Exactly, there's no one to follow up on it. Not even Ainz himself can do it, and that's another cap in just about as quick a time.
In 1 attempt.
Exactly. This is so bizarre.
Can I just say,
if New Paradigm do it too, it's going to be just the strangest.
Okay, so 4 minutes and 49 seconds. That means in 3 minutes and 11 seconds, is my math correct there? In 3 minutes and 11 seconds, Talon have capped A and B twice. Have fully capped out Volsky twice in 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
I don't know if that's exactly.
Oh no, they did get some bonus time. So they get 30 seconds bonus time on
So they had 6:24 at the outset, which means they'd used 1 minute and 36 seconds. Then they get 30 seconds. So they've used 1 minute 36. They're on 624. They get 30 extra seconds after capping, so that puts them up to 654. And then they capped at what, 449? So the difference 654 and 449 added to 134 is how long they've taken. Someone else do that math for me.
Point is, it's insane. Point is, it's just a math caster.
I want to do, yeah, we don't even cast the game.
I do want to know.
I do want to know. Okay, so the difference is
3 minutes and 41 seconds.
654.
3 minutes and 41 seconds. Am I on the money there?
You were, that sounds about right.
You're like, I don't know, but it sounds good, so we'll give it to you.
I'll buy that for $1.
But within 4 minutes, which is the amount of time you would get for one attempt for an A push, they've just done the whole map twice.
I think the more important thing is if New Paradigm can also repeat that, that means
that would be great.
That we go to quadruple time bank. That's what happens there.
You get like on the scoreboard, it'd be like 8-8.
I've never seen that before. That would be a first.
I've seen that only in memes.
I actually think that would genuinely be a professional Overwatch first.
And we wouldn't be happy about it.
Absolutely not. The reason I was quiet there is I was just checking my watch again. Where are New Paradigm? What are they doing? They're all alive. They have been alive already for 15 seconds.
But they changed composition. They wanted to go to GOATs against the Sarissa comp, which is going to require them to make some long rotation now, or just get onto point. If they can pressure the point correctly, Villeneuve and the rest of his squad and Talon will have to meet them onto the point. But they will lose in terms of poke. They cannot poke back against Talon, and that could just be the death end.
And Talon know it. Talon are just going to stand around the high ground, the one place New Paradigm can't get to them, and set up a kill box. Dragon Strike's going to rake across the lot of them now. He just threw that at his own team. But it still caught Ainz and other retreating members. I don't believe it. This is...
So the one issue that I do have with this GOAT's composition, despite the obvious limitations with how they can rotate into Talon, which is going to be difficult, they can't contest in terms of poke. The bigger issue is if they want to match time for time bank, which is important because we're already at the sort of position where
they can't now.
They're about to lose that advantage. That wasn't a real big advantage. They can't snowball. They can't snowball effectively onto B with the GOAT's composition because it's too slow.
Exactly. Even with the speed boosting in. And now they've got this kind of half GOATs. It's running the
weird amalgamation.
Because they couldn't contest.
Chimera.
Yeah, they couldn't contest the high ground. So they've just gone ahead and picked up a Widowmaker instead of taking something that could maybe dive and dislodge. And speaking of, that Widowmaker just got outsniped.
So the good news is New Paradigm have forced Talon Esports onto the ground now, so New Paradigm want to take a ground fight, which they are. They should be favored here because they can't get out poked if they just brawl.
The unfortunate thing for them, though, is Talon can retreat at least somewhat back to that high ground. Bazzi,
and they lose the point.
And Gilgora can do that. They do lose the point, so New Paradigm are starting to pressure out the ground game properly, but they're the ones losing the fight because, again, Talon was still able to maintain a kind of kill box setup. Even with the progress on the point, Talon have this fight in the bag. They've got the members still alive, and now it's an uphill battle for New Paradigm, if it wasn't already.
So we've seen a great GOAT's composition run by EXO. We've also seen an awkward one now run by New Paradigm. The biggest difference is definitely speed. It's also in how you approach the team, right? Because the bad thing that can happen is a team like Talon Esports, you got to look at their ult economy here. They can charge ult so quickly off your team members because it's just such high health pools to do that with. Awkward
GOATs sounds like the sort of email address a 14-year-old would have in 2008.
At hotmail.com.
At hotmail. Awkward GOATs at hotmail.com. Absolutely. Ainz already getting picked off, so close to a grab as well. And again, it's just New Paradigm before they're even doing anything are getting split out, picked apart. It feels like they're barely putting up any resistance. It's
Frost takes an icy swim.
Yeah, it's like one person will go in and dive.
Whoa, Hojin Ho is
just kind of woke up. What is even going on anymore? Why? I mean, look, good kills on Hojin Ho, sure, but his team was still respawning and regrouping. He shouldn't have even been that far forward.
This is where we need to see New Paradigm kind of slow, like, ironically slow things down and regroup, right? No, but you need to know when to be fast and when to be slow, and you can't afford to just lose members randomly when you're trying to regroup. Now they have some ultimates to play with. You got to think this is where they can actually find a win condition. Ooh, Frost nearly went for again.
Yeah, nearly going ice diving. And now they're trying to get Talon grouped up so that they can pop a grab on top of them. But Talon aren't going to take that bait. Sound barrier is out. They're trying to just commit to the fight. They've already lost Hojin Ho. So, that's a Nice Earth Shatter on top of the grab, but they need to get the damage follow-up. No one winning. Stopped out by the Fortify. No follow-up. And Gogora pops Tito with the self-destruct while Tito was out of the mech. Now Ein gets picked off. They connected with both of their massive ultimates, and they didn't even go in to confirm the kills.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say they went in, but they couldn't confirm the kills. It's more likely what happened. It would be rather silly to not go in at all. So they did try and do that. The bigger issue is they didn't get the second tick on the point despite all the effort, despite how much they put into that fight. Didn't really come through, and now we're starting to see the issues that we've seen in the past two maps where it's ugly hit around for New Paradigm again, which is to say they are too indecisive and too slow on pushes, specifically when they were running goats. They're back onto dive now, so we'll see if this dive works a little bit better for them. They can get a little bit more initiative in there, but not with Hojin Ho dead.
But I mean, how many times are they going to change it up and have things not work? That's the unfortunate thing here.
This is the last time. They don't have any more time after this.
And it feels like that's, I mean, I feel like this is what they should have been playing from the start, really, with how they've been playing and the things that they've been unable to do.
Run Sombra again, it worked.
I mean, it did, but
they could have started with that again. I'm serious.
Exactly. There was. That's the thing. It feels like they're just kind of fishing around for something, hoping that one of these comps is going to be effective, and finally going in with the dive. But Frost is too far forward. He gets isolated. He gets killed. Now Ein diving into 3 people.
Isolated and killed.
Yeah, Tito goes down as well. I mean, where is the coordination? Where is Ein diving with Frost and Tito? Why are they going in one by one?
And now we're going to potentially the final attempt here for New Paradigm. 30 seconds remaining. Note that this is also a match point here. Talon Esports up 2-0. This would complete their 3-0 run. New Paradigm would be at serious risk of getting 0-4 in this series, and that would be a sad prospect for this team.
It would also confirm that New Paradigm's initial cap was a flash in the pan, indeed a fluke. Now Hojin Ho with the wraparound doesn't quite close off. There we go, gets Persia. Ein's been traded out already. Frost and Tito low. Where is the answers? Yeah, that Dragon Strike just too devastating, too quick. And indeed, this is going to be the last hurrah for New Paradigm. And I'll be honest, not a particularly convincing one at that, but the Pulse Bomb was wide and all the ultimates from Talon connected. Once again, New Paradigm just not coordinated enough as they go in, isolated, picked off. Talon deservedly going to win Volskaya there, seal up the series. Now it's a question of will it be a 4-0?
Admittedly, the initial attack rounds for both teams were very entertaining. 624 to 625.
Yeah, I'll take entertaining. It's a diplomatic choice of words.
Very safe word choice there.
The safe word is entertaining.
But Time Bank was a little bit of a different story. You've got to give credit to Talon again for just completing the map in rapid succession. That doesn't happen. It's like lightning striking twice in the same spot.
When you compare to lightning striking technically once by accident for New Paradigm.
But it's like, I mean, that's been, by the way, lightning does strike in the same spot a decent amount of times. You just get a tall building, Empire State Building, whatever.
Like that's
bam, bam.
That's literally what lightning rods are. It's to make sure that the lightning strikes multiple times in the same place rather than anywhere else.
And in this case, the lightning rod was New Paradigm because Talon and
they got struck time
them.
and time again. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, like I'm gonna stick to my guns. 3:41. Is that what I said? 3 minutes and 41 to complete.
I'm gonna do the math on this as soon as we're off air. I want you to know that. But yeah, that sounds about right. It would be 3 minutes something. So yeah, something.
It's
like
under 4 minutes is the point.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
I'm equally impressed in a much worse way for New Paradigm's inability to defend twice against snowball pushes, against one attempt pushes. Like that just shouldn't happen, especially when you consider that on that B point there's so much time for a defending team to come back out and stabilize again. Like I feel like we've been over this, right? All you got to do realistically, if you get fully wiped, you get full wave of respawns, come back out as 6 and you get a 6v6. It's as simple as that. You might still lose that, but you give yourself a good chance.
Exactly. I mean, it feels like there's almost no excuse. The issue is the exact same problem they're having on attack. They go in one by one. They respawn and they just sort of barrel in. They just go. They throw bodies at the point. They do the same on attack. They go, okay, we need to dive. So Frost jumps in. No one else jumps in with him. He's dead. And then Ein, he dives like 2 supports and an opposing Widowmaker. It's like, this is not going to work ever. And they know that it's not going to work. We've seen them play dive correctly. We've seen them actually play correctly against EXL and not even look that bad at it. I don't understand what's happening tonight.
But is it as entertaining as Frost's long con on the Reinhardt A attack on Eichenwald? He dies and his team wins anyway.
I hope that's actually what they were planning on doing. It's like, right, let's trick them into thinking we're not diving. Like if that's what they did and then it worked, that is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But
it would only work against Talon as well. It would not work against EXL. Would not work against Monster Shield.
Let's just move on forward and pretend that the last 3 maps didn't happen. Let's go to Route 66.
New Paradigm would love to pretend the last 3 maps didn't happen.
Well, they've still got 1 more to go before they can finally have that long-awaited bath. just gonna
clean that cake off the floor.
Soak off the shade.
Scrape off the icing and all the...
It's like when you... Do you ever do this? It's like when you're really hungover and like you feel like you're like, I definitely drank too much. And it's like you have a shower and it's like you're washing away your own sin. That's what that feels like, you know? That's okay. After this match, that's what New Paradigm need. They need a hangover shower. Or is that only me? Have I just revealed a very weird and intimate detail of my life?
I'll be honest, I didn't know that about you beforehand, so maybe. I want to say as well, one thing that we haven't seen is Froppy was playing, I want to say most of the time last week for New Paradigm. He hasn't been in the lineup this week. All right, let's grow up and be mature, Matt, about this, right?
I'm sorry, it's just such a funny name.
The other player we haven't seen is Cross Rainer.
It sounds great.
We also haven't seen Cross Rainer come out for New Paradigm as well, so I'm sort of wondering, and we're in the 4th map now, and they're obviously not going to come out, but if you were succeeding more with Froppy on your lineup, and I'm clutching for straws here as well, because at this sort of point,
there's got to be some reason.
It is strange. Yeah. It is strange. Not that they've swapped them out, but it is strange that the results seem so different. And not just results, but just in overall gameplay. Yeah. It just doesn't seem right.
No, absolutely. I mean,
even
though 5 of the 6 members are exactly the same, it feels like I'm watching a completely different, and I'm going to be blunt here, much worse team than what we saw last week.
That hurt even me.
Sorry, buddy. It's all right.
And I don't have feelings.
Just have a shower afterwards. You'll feel fine. Wash it all away. Wash away the shame. At any rate, Hojin Ho's going to die.
That looks like a nice deflect. Yeah.
I mean, you hear the sound of the deflect, you see the headshot come up in the kill feed, you know what happened. You can put 2 and 2 together. Now they're just diving New Paradigm, beating back the defenses that are really not putting up much of a fight at all.
Yeah, big fan of the Genji Widowmaker composition here. You can start to see a week with as well, 76% leading the charge in ult charge on his team, and you'd expect a week, or rather a Bazzi, to kind of be the one doing that, but yeah, happy to see him there.
It's just waiting.
I just don't want to see a week on fire again.
They're waiting anything else for them to recommit so that they can get a wraparound of some variety, and here it is. They're going to isolate and kill Tato. Frost now is alone. They're going to isolate him. And this is Paradigm starting to trickle in. It was originally the 2 tanks and a support, and they just let themselves get split up. Now that those 3 are dead, the rest of the team is here. You wonder why they weren't all there from the start.
Yeah, Velvet's got to come here and complete the trickle. Blood for the Blood God. Everyone needs to be fed here so that Talon can move
the Skull Throne.
6 ultimates now. As we can just see a week once again. Check that shot out. Bam.
Oh.
And a sweet 13% ult charge for that reflect as well.
Deeply satisfying is what I would call that. And that ult charge unfortunately went to...
I was
going to say to no effect because I thought it was about to run out, but no. It suddenly, with one swipe, finds Hojin Ho and Eind.
And this is about where you'd like to see a player like Tito, or probably Frost, or most likely Tito, jump on top of the cap, stall that one up. A similar thing to what we saw in the Monster Shield versus EXL matchup, right? You need to start finding some ways to slow down the progress of Talon Esports because they're basically spawn camping you and the cart is uncontested.
Hojin Ho gets closed out, and as does Frost, and again, this dive is just continuing to go unanswered. It's tough, I'll concede, when Talon have that ultimate advantage in the pocket, but now it's New Paradigm with that ultimate advantage. They have another opportunity to defend here. We've got to see it go better.
And there's no excuse for Frost dying early either. He's got himself a Primal Rage. There's no Sombra or any other shenanigans on the other side. Surely he gets out here. Surely the Primal comes out. Surely everything ultimate-wise does get used.
Velvet barely saving his own skin there with the Transcendence, but they're not actually converted the kills. Persia going to have to do the same. Here's Ein with the Dragon Blade. Has to get something. Finds Bazzi, but Villeneuve is just taking out New Paradigm. Ein puts the blade away, getting buffeted now off the map by Villeneuve. Res onto Bazzi. Unfortunately, you would almost like to commit that res onto Persia, but what's done is done. New Paradigm look like at last they might have just barely stabilized.
But they need more kills. This isn't quite enough just yet. You see how much they're struggling to just clean up the stragglers here. If they don't get the stragglers, Talon get to reset with their team. In fact, they don't reset.
Finally.
They don't get back to spawn.
I don't believe it.
They just consolidate.
More than one person dived at once. It was beautiful. That's what New Paradigm need to be doing. You're right, they were struggling to close out members on the back of that fight because they completely, I feel like a wizened sensei. They lacked focus. And when they finally had it, things started working.
I am somewhat surprised that Bazzi has gone on to the Brigadier instead of the Widowmaker here. I will concede that if you are concerned about the dive factor, you do want to be playing the Brigadier, but Bazzi had pretty good effect onto the Widowmaker, and I feel like you lose that kind of impact now. If New Paradigm show their weak to the Widowmaker, you want to abuse that.
Man, look at that. Awake wanted to dive onto Ilsubi. By the time he got there, Ilsubi was already dead. Goes instead for Velvet, doesn't find it. Eind, on the other hand, also found nothing.
Trading.
So, yeah, this is trading. This is starting to work a bit for New Paradigm, but also their members are low, so the few members left of Talon can also do a lot of work. Really, Hojin Ho putting the team on his back a bit here.
It's going to be the first time I really, I was going to really compliment the tank side of New Paradigm here, because you did see Frost and Cheddar working together to start those trades of Hojin Ho on the backside as well. Frost now gets respawned. He died at 99%, so I guess that one you can't fault him for too much, but now he has the Primal Rage back in control. New Paradigm, the defense begins again.
And now it seems like it's Talon who are kind of hitting a bit of a wall with this one. They're not in a great position with their ultimates. They're at least coming up with a few on rotation, but New Paradigm have an opportunity to get some of their own. And if they can open with a pick here and disrupt Talon's momentum, they can just kind of burn down the clock and put Talon on the back foot.
I'm going to be honest here. The Bazzi swap onto the Brigadier, I feel, is somewhat of a culprit because they're playing a more defensive manner rather than being offensive. They're losing a lot of damage potential, and it's quite obvious. Down goes Bazzi. Ein finds that kill. We did see a res onto Persia. Where does the trance come in for this one? Because we are expecting a blade from the weak.
I mean, it comes in now, right? New Paradigm put their foot off the gas.
Good counter?
This gets, a good counter answered by the Transcendence, and off the back of it, New Paradigm get aggressive. A weak does still find one in there, in fact finds two, but the damage has been done. Talon have lost the fight. A weak is already backing off, and now a minute remaining. They've only got one good fight here. Sounded like I censored myself because I started saying
well, you are excused, and what I'll say to that is Talon Esports, again, I'm still looking for impact out of Bazzi. The rally is about to come up, but again, defensive. Where does the offense come from? Where do we find kills from this Bazzi pick? A week now going to go into the McCree. Feels like they're playing even more defensive now. They're losing more and more initiative, losing more and more dive pressure. Now they're waiting for poke damage from a week while waiting for New Paradigm to dive it.
And there's a pulse bomb right into the thick of it. Doesn't quite get the payoff. The rally has already gone out. Talon have to get aggressive now. They have to start finding some way in. There's going to be the self-destruct thrown into the mix from Tato. Eind gets picked off. No kills off that self-destruct. Now they're going to wish they had it on the defensive, and all these members just one by one getting pressured out. The health bar's all far too low.
Primal.
Yeah, I mean, he's held on that.
Where's the blade?
Where's any of these ultimates? I mean, Eind was dead. He's only just respawned again. Frost, no Primal. I mean, look at how far away the card is. He could have done it there. Could have stalled out for Eind. Could have stalled out for the rest of the team.
I'm going to be honest. The stall...
Please do.
The stall I'll give him is maybe you didn't want to stall there because you want to regroup with your team, but now this is getting quite dire. If you don't use your ultimates here, in fact, if you just don't even get to the card in time, that's a big issue. Finally,
the blade
comes out.
Ilsuba's already dead, and Eind gets flashbang, does at least take out Haru, but he's going to lose his life immediately after. Hojin Ho as well getting picked off. And despite that Transcendence there from Velvet, they're just not getting anything through. Didn't even need anything off that Deadeye. And again, Frost, no Primal Rage. I can forgive it there because he was the only one left alive. But he could have also committed it earlier, could have created opportunities for Eind to take advantage of.
That's exactly the point that I'm going to agree with here, because it's not so much, oh, why is he dying with Primal available? Using Primal there would have probably just fed 1,000 HP, I'll be quite honest, but it's about why he didn't use it at the start of the fight.
Why aren't you opening with Primal?
use it to bat Persia away while he's using Transcendence.
Oh,
Give Iron a better opportunity to get this Dragon Blade damage out, protect him, dive with him. There's a lot of questions here that we have for the decisions of New Paradigm, and we are now on to the last point here. 1 minute remaining for Talon. At least New Paradigm can be happy that they've bled the timer out that far.
I wonder if maybe it's a case of like Froppy is their usual shot caller or something, and maybe that's what's changed. Because that is the sort of thing that could account for such a drastic change. Indeed, drastic decline.
Frost back on the long con.
Yeah, oh boy, here we go. I love this. This is my favorite.
No, I'm going to be honest, this is a point where Reinhardt is actually very good. So.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them change up a few other parts of the team comp as well. Kill on Bazzy, a weak trades back on Velvet, but dies in his own right. And again, we're just back in this bizarre back and forth where it feels like...
Frost looks lost. Where is he going?
It's like, which are we attacking or defending, guys?
So it is still difficult. It's difficult for both sides. Talon have 5 ultimates. 10 seconds remaining is not a comfortable position to be in. Likely what New Paradigm should be doing here is they need to force these ultimates out, bleed it out to a stage where even if Talon win a fight, they do not have ultimates to clean out the fight. They do not have ultimates to finish the cap.
Oh man, a weak finds Velvet, gonna come around for the Deadeye. Get on the payload! Whoa, my god, that was nearly ridiculous. And unfortunately in channeling the Deadeye leaves himself vulnerable. But it doesn't matter because the Dragon Blade, the big tool New Paradigm had, he goes down. Ain't in the middle of channeling that Talon. They're still on this payload.
This is sustainable because Talon are out of resources. However, New Paradigm got to get trades and they're not doing that. Yeah,
they're diving in one by one. They're only just now waiting for a proper run of respawns. But I guarantee you someone's going to get picked off somewhere here, either by Widowmaker headshot or even just a wraparound from a weak, some kind of dive here. Less than 3 meters to go. It's Ainz who's going to suffer the wrath of the Widowmaker. Now they pick Kojin Ho as well. Even when New Paradigm get that full reset, it doesn't pay off for them. This is now Velvet with the Transcendence. Tito will have a self-destruct. It can buy a few more seconds.
Whole team was dead during the trans.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It still stalls, I'll give them that, but stalling for whom? That's the thing you've got to ask yourself as New Paradigm. Continuing now to trickle on, this time because they have no choice. Credit where credit's due. They at least went for the full reset last time around, but even then it wasn't enough. They still lost the fight. They're still losing the fight, and with that, Talon will cap out completely.
And the credit I'll give New Paradigm here is that we did see the timing being bled out to 0. This is a heavy improvement compared to what we saw on Volskaya, right? I mean, this is not the 1 attempt, 1 push on through, massive time bank. This is a 0 second, 0 minute time bank for Talon. So improvement on that regard. In fact, it was at this sort of stage where once New Paradigm really kind of stabilized, especially onto B, you felt like there is a potential here where you could see the full hold come out. Mistakes were the fact that they weren't proactive enough to use their ultimates in an early fashion to initiate fights, to give themselves early advantages. And then they started losing members too quickly, and then it wasn't worth using ultimates. Go on to C. Win conditions again very clear. 1 minute remaining, 5 ultimates onto Talon. Start the fights early, bleed the 5 ultimates out. Doesn't matter if you lose those fights. By the time the cart gets to the end of the 3rd point, to the end of the map, Talon do not have resources. Once you start getting trades then, your respawners will just overwhelm Talon. It takes too long for them to reinforce their fighters in the front lines. Don't have any ultimates to use, they should lose. But that just didn't happen. That did not happen for New Paradigm, and it is disappointing. They can be happy with getting a 0 second time back on Talon Esports, but they should be disappointed in knowing that they could have held on either B or C.
And it always feels, just to speak to another side of that, it feels like New Paradigm, it feels like they want to use every single ultimate reactively, if they can, so help it, with very few exceptions. You know, the obvious culprits, the rallies and infra sites of the world. I can't believe I have to watch this girl smack her guns together again like an idiot.
Where did she hurt? Where did Diva hurt you? Point to me on the doll.
In the soul. But in all seriousness, it feels like New Paradigm want to use their ultimates reactively at all junctures, as though that's going to get more value. But that's just not how it works. Yeah, Bazzy's going off here. He is awoken.
That's been one of the main issues. I think reactive, not just in how they use ultimates, but in decision-making in general, has been a weakness in New Paradigm. We're seeing it here as well. It's been Talon being proactive first. It's them finding the fights, finding the engagements, and this is not where you expect a team to get held up. This is where, to be quite honest, Talon should be getting punished.
This is where I used to play like corny Bastion Reinhardt defenses in like the first week of release. This is absolutely unheard of.
This should be punishable. I mean, Talon Esports very far forward.
Tell you what though, if anyone cannot punish it, it's New Paradigm.
And New Paradigm have severe spawn advantage here.
Severe. That is the absolute best possible word. You're right. Like, I mean, now at least they're not getting headshotted out and picked off. They've made a bit of headway, but it's not like they've got kills. Talon, as I said, finally. There we go, yeah. Talon can just back off, though. I mean, New Paradigm, sure, they get underway, but it's not like they've won a fight or anything. They're just not losing one anymore.
Well, they are, yeah. A lot of time, unfortunately, has been wasted. I mean, 1 minute 30, and the cart's only just at the position where most teams would start their fights. And meanwhile, Talon are getting ultimates as well.
That's so gross.
That one's got to hurt in the behind.
I think what happened there, I think Bazzi connected a headshot, and at the exact same time, Ho Jun Ho had his headshot deflected back onto Eind. I think that's what happened there. I mean, that was just nasty.
What a great line of play. Just Talon Esports get themselves up to a 4 ultimate advantage right now. Eind about to hit that Dragon Blade, but it still needs to be. It just needs to be New Paradigm hitting first. It almost doesn't even matter in what manner anymore. They gotta go. They gotta be the ones diving first.
And they're still just not doing. I mean, look at this. Now Frost is just kind of man alone out here. Is getting drilled down. Not going to be able to make it back because a weak can capitalize. He can pull out the blade, get resets. There we go. Self-destruct from Teto. And with those closer respawns, for goodness sake, they should be able to get on the payload.
Now the objective should be fairly clear here. Clear these last members off. Get some staggers in there. The longer it takes Talon Esports to regroup with their full 6, the longer it's going to take for them to recontest this card. In the meantime, New Paradigm can get a lot of positioning. First part of that's done now. Kills are in effect. It's going to take Persia and Gagora some time to re-reach their team. Now New Paradigm walk forward, control these doors. They're kind of doing that right now. Got another pick, fantastic. Meanwhile, the card should be looking to close this one out. If there is a fight, it will be right at the end. And that's good for New Paradigm.
I mean, this is what they should be doing. This is good play. The thing that is absurd is that it's taken them this long to do that, and that they got held at a place where no one gets held. Talon, though, now in for that contest, absolutely unsurprisingly, because they had been holding so much further forward. No one either way really getting the better of the fight just yet. Haru out with the Valkyrie, self-destruct into the void. Gagora's not going to get back in the mech. Eind is not going to live, and he had that Dragon Blade too. The cap went through in that anyway.
Yeah, Talon have done that before. We've seen that on the Sky. It's very disappointing. Talon are giving away some of these caps when they really should not be. They were winning that fight, I'm going to be quite honest. They took away the win condition from New Paradigm. Eind went down. He needed to live because he had the blade. He has respawned now, and the B point has been opened up. Sorry, the emote sounds about right, Eind. Sorry, Talon. You just couldn't.
Can they
you couldn't touch the point.
This is one wacky match. That's what I'll say. It's a wacky match. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining as Frost dies for no reason.
At all. Zero reason to die.
They dive onto Eind, then they pick Ho Jun Ho. Why are the healers on the other side of that? Why wasn't either of those two DPSs backing up to those supports? Why was Eind backing up to his Widowmaker? What's she gonna do? All that does is draw their divers towards your two squishy defenseless people.
So sort of back in a similar scenario here where Talon Esports have control. Okay, that was so
brutal.
He waited a long time. So I'm somewhat glad he got that one, because otherwise, that feels like a World War II sniper waiting in a tree for a week. So he did get rewarded by that kill, but it feels like New Paradigm is just still waiting to do something right now.
It's like that one guy in Finland who just like stayed in a snow hole and killed like 200 Russians or something. Kind of feels like that. New Paradigm, though, speaking of killing 200 Russians, killed a bunch of members of Talon there, but they didn't get on the payload.
There's nearly 6 ultimates available for New Paradigm, so now there's no excuse. There's no more excuses to say why you're not getting aggressive, why you're not getting proactive here. Your team composition, your team cannot get more powerful. You've reached maximum power levels here.
And Ilsumi dies.
Yes, you can still go in. You can still force ult. They're going
for, and I do like this. But Talon also have a pretty significant number of ultimates.
Why did you not
continuing? Yeah, that's rough from Persia there. At least he did trade one back. I don't know. But at any rate, it's not like the payload's moving a whole lot because this fight's scattered. They're all just bouncing around. It's like watching, you know, it's like watching Little League baseball or something. It's just people throwing stuff around. There's no focus, there's no direction. New Paradigm, with all those ultimates even going in, no one went in the same place. They all went in different directions, and Talon somehow win the fight.
So, not without losses though. So that is one.
Yeah, you'll give them that.
So that is one silver lining for New Paradigm. So New Paradigm do get to come in here after Tito respawns. Admittedly, this sort of recontest will be their last opportunity, and I'll be very surprised if they could ride the cart momentum in a similar fashion to Monster Shield, but I'd like to be proven wrong. I would love for New Paradigm to get this cap.
No kills on the Dragon Blade, did at least force the Transcendence out of Persia, but now here's the Dragon Blade out of a week, and no Transcendence from Velvet to counter had already been used. Caught Tito as he was demexed. Velvet goes down to the dive from Villeneuve. Bazzi does go down to the deflect from Eind, but it doesn't matter. Eind, even if he gets kills in here...
Just Eind me.
Just behind. Gets 3, actually. He's desperately trying to keep the team in it, but there's just no one left, no one alive, no such luck. The 4-0 completed for Talon, and finally New Paradigm can go home and shower.
Just Eind the pain already.
Just Eind me. Well, we're gonna... I like how in the last match, he got subbed out. You're like, oh, we'll see him next week, which is a really good joke, but then they subbed him back in.
Yeah, and he uses his ultimates now too, so he doesn't save them for next week either.
There's a lot to say about that match, but I don't want to say any of it.
I think it was all said. I think everything was laid out onto the table very clearly.
A lot of problems, I will say that.
I mean, there were some good things there, there were some very entertaining things there. Volskaya was a great map for all the
wrong reasons.
All the best and the worst reasons, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, across the board, I think you see some good signs there from both sides. Definitely more from Talon with the 4-0. But yeah, obviously there are. I'm trying to be positive here because obviously there are a lot of problems, but I think they need to. This week 2. Yeah. I want to see where they can get to by week 5. I think Talon have some more to go, and I would like to see if New Paradigm can bounce back to their form from week 1, because the good news is we've seen New Paradigm play much better than this, so I'd like to at least see that out of them.
And that's the thing, right? Look, Talon, I think they looked, I mean, evidently good enough to win here. They did look good. They looked okay. Compared to their game against Machi, I feel like that was actually still a bit of a stronger game in some regards, but this is actually, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say, sometimes matches like this can actually be quite challenging. When your opponent is playing a little bit, let's be honest, a bit kind of scattered and unfocused, it can actually be kind of tough to counter because you're not dealing with the directed play that you're used to. There were also just other things not quite going right on Talon's side, but there were things going right, and we've got to speak to those things. They did tidy up the play over the course of the series, which was also a 4-0, so even when things were messy for them, they were still winning the maps, and it's a recovery from their loss to Match.
Well, let's take